I'm Jeffrey Babbitt. I'm presenting an author study on A.S. King. A.S. King has published 10 novels over the past 13 years and has been called one of the best YA writers working today by the New York Times Book Review. She is a surrealist and a bit of a mystic who believes stories are gifted to me. She is also a strong, consistent advocate for teens. She says, we need to step up as adults and give teenagers their voices back. We've spent decades dismantling them as consumer-driven, dramatic know-it-alls with our eye rolls and the kissing of teeth. It's about time we gave them some credit for being humans, the same as we are, who experience many things. The voices of King's teen characters are as strong, unique, and genuine as the author's own. You can see for yourselves in the following books and more. Please Ignore Vera Dietz, 2010, Realistic Fiction, 2011 Prince Honor Book. Charlie Kahn, best friend, love object, or worst enemy of Vera Dietz, has died under mysterious circumstances that cast a pall over his reputation. Vera knew him better than anyone. She knows his secrets. Can she clear him, or will she repay him in kind for his betrayal? I Crawl Through It, 2015, surrealist fiction. Named one of Booklist's 50 best YA books of all time. The lives of 4 teens, each dealing with their own trauma, intertwine. They endure date rape, loss, neglect, and academic pressure. This surrealist novel follows each one as they cope by splitting in two, turning inside out, and building an invisible helicopter. Still Life with Tornado, 2016, surrealist fiction. 16-year-old artist Sarah suddenly loses the ability to draw. In the midst of this existential crisis, she meets multiple other versions of herself from the past and the future. Sarah's parents are getting divorced after years of domestic violence, lies, and denial. Now, Sarah needs to come to terms with everything she has been willfully ignoring or suppressing over the years. Still Life opens with the dedication for Julia. This refers to a young nonverbal child whom King overheard being scolded and hit by her mother while in Mexico. King, in this way, positions Sarah as abused child, and we, the reader, discover the abuse along with Sarah as she confronts the strange blank spots in her memory. Dig, 2019, surrealist fiction. 2020 winner of the Michael L. Prince Award for Excellence in Young Adult Literature. Potato and real estate millionaires Marla and Gottfried Hemmings will not share the millions with their children and grandchildren. Now the Hemmings' 5 grandchildren, each with their own tangled and sometimes bizarre lives, begin to meet and become entangled with each other. Little by little, they uncover the secret at the heart of their grandparents' success, an indictment of the toxic culture of white supremacy. A little biographical information. Amy Sarah King was born in 1970 and raised in a musical house in the Reading, Pennsylvania area. As a child, she was obsessed with the circulatory system and wanted to be a heart surgeon. Her wide-ranging interests are apparent in her books. I grew up in the middle of a cornfield, says King in her 2018 interview. I grew up wild. In 8th grade, King wrote in her journal, I want to write books that help adults understand teenagers and help teenagers understand adults. She was told, however, that if she wanted to be a writer and make a living, she would have to be a journalist, which did not interest her at all. That, plus a bad experience with a teacher who was particularly negative toward girls the year before, led to a period of academic apathy and bad grades that lasted through high school. King hated high school. She says in her 2014 interview, my only real passion at the time was getting the hell out. It wasn't for me. Too many boxes, too many rumors and immature people, too much bullshit. An experience with a high school bully who sexually grabbed and harassed her and spread a rumor that she was a lesbian helped cement her attitude toward school. Still, she managed to keep minimally passing grades in order to continue playing basketball. She briefly tried various activities before quitting over conflicts with teachers and coaches, participated in school plays as a stagehand, stage fright kept her from acting, worked outside of school at several jobs, and worked with other teens as a peer helper. Despite the discouragement from writing and the general distaste for school, 3 high school teachers saved King. They gave her some much-needed latitude in assignments, as she says, letting me write my first-person POV project story from the POV of a can of succotash, write a career paper on being a superhero, and started me writing in journals. To be encouraged as a creative yet bored and underachieving student is a rare thing, and it was very appreciated. Another life-changing event in King's life took place when she was 15. Her mother died in the hospital and was subsequently revived, giving King a more mature and appreciative perspective on life. Says King in a 2014 interview, "I grew up very quickly that day. I became more forgiving and helpful, and I hugged more often. I was scared, but I felt brave too." After high school, King continued to wander academically. She entered college to study forestry, but soon left. She transferred to an art school to study film photography and graduated just in time to be rendered obsolete by the digital age. Directly following graduation, King moved to Ireland to join Topher King, a man she had met at 17 when he was an exchange counselor at a children's camp. King married Topher, and the couple raised 2 children and stayed together for 30 years, although the latter years were difficult. The couple divorced around the turn of the year a few months ago. 2 years before the divorce, King's daughter Gracie, who had battled mental illness, took her own life. In retrospect, King characterized her role in the marriage to Topher as caretaker to a challenging, mentally ill partner, an abusive man, not because of the mental illness, but because he chooses to be abusive, like all abusers. A disciplined professional, King writes every day. She describes her writing process as pure seat of the pants, answering questions from her characters about why they might be feeling a certain way or doing a certain thing that oftentimes seems unacceptable in our society. King has described her motivation variously as an escape from real life and to release my characters from my head. In 2011, King was inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame at the Pennsylvania high school she so desperately wanted to leave. King does social media in moderation. She has an author page on Facebook and used almost strictly for book promotion and connecting with teachers and students. She posts regularly to Twitter and Instagram, a mix of promotion and random informal messages. Twitter connects King to her professional community and her older fans. She uses it to congratulate other writers, promote books, offer her services and insights to educators and students, and occasionally to share what she has learned from personal challenges. Such was a September 13th, 2019 tweet on Suicide Awareness Week, where she discussed her daughter Gracie, teen mental health, and adults' responsibilities to young people. King's Instagram posts are generally lighter, sometimes political or humanitarian, filled with music and art and humor. Eminently accessible and responsive, always unafraid to speak her mind, A.S. King is a rare artist. The references that helped me put this together are listed here. And you know where to get in touch with me if you have any questions. Thanks.